What's happening, everybody? Good evening to you all, and welcome to Sunday Night Live, where this is kind of like an after show, where we give our thoughts on some of the weekend's action. Of course, we had pound for pound the number one best fighter in boxing, according to many. Canelo Alvarez was in action. He was against Anthony Yildirim, and I'm also going to weigh in on his fight against Billy Joe Saunders, which is coming up. And I'm also going to speak about Joseph Parker's performance against Junior Farr. He got the victory there. So big up everybody, first of all, who comes into the chat. Anybody that wants to leave comments, as you do, just drop them. I'll happily read them all. And I'm going to be here for about, 20 to 30 minutes, just giving my thoughts. And if anyone wants to chime in, just let me know, drop a comment, and we can happily go back and forth. So first of all, anyone in the chat, just like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't already, like the video, share it to everybody, subscribe to the channel, and let's just keep it moving, man. So let's get on to it. Canelo Alvarez, he was against Anthony Yildirim at the weekend, as we know. I don't think there was anyone outside of Anthony Yildirim's team that gave him a chance against Canelo at the weekend. I mean, there's levels to this game, and we saw it. You know what I mean? There was no real surprises there. Canelo Alvarez getting the victory inside 3 rounds. It was just dominant performance. We all knew that. Do you know what I mean? We all knew that was going to be the case. This was kind of like just a stay busy fight for Canelo. He had to make it if he wanted to keep his WBC title. And, it was just literally Anthony Yildirim, as we know, what used to be a sparring partner of Canelo Alvarez. And you could see that in the fight itself. He didn't really believe, to me, it didn't seem like he really believed that he could get the win. He didn't really land anything of note throughout the 3 rounds, and he was just completely dominated from Canelo. So Canelo scored a knockdown in the 3rd round, and after that, he went back to his corner when the bell went. Joel Diaz, who is Anthony Yildirim's trainer, said to him, I'm going to stop this fight if you don't show me anything. And then all of a sudden, the fight was stopped. So I don't think Yildirim wanted any more. And it was that, it was a gross mismatch. And like I said, everybody pretty expected this. We all thought it was going to be. But the main news of that night was the announcement, which was afterwards. And that was Canelo going up against Billy Joe Saunders. That's confirmed as his next opponent. 3 of the 4 super middleweight titles will be on the line. And I think that most people were willing to give Canelo, I wouldn't say a pass, but they'd be willing to overlook this fight, considering that he's been active and considering that Billy Joe Saunders was next. If that wasn't the case, if Canelo was to go sit on this win for another 6 or 7 months or so, then, yeah, I could understand where the majority of the criticism is coming from. But because he already defeated Callum Smith in December, he's got Billy Joe Saunders in May. Some people don't even fight in between then. So the fight against Anthony Yildirim, I was willing to bypass it. I know others haven't. And, my guest on the podcast, he certainly hasn't. But, yeah, I was willing to bypass this night because I knew that what was coming. Do you know what I mean? So is Billy Joe Saunders next? He's going to be fighting Canelo in May, Cinco de Mayo weekend, May the 8th. And I want to get your thoughts about it, man. Does he have a chance against Canelo Alvarez? That's my topic for this evening. Does Billy Joe Saunders have a chance against Canelo? Big up Konrad Boxing, regular contributor here to this channel. Much appreciated, as always. He's put here, those body shots were brutal. Yeah, they were, man. They were very brutal. They took its toll on Anthony Yildirim. And I don't know. I was disappointed, not because I didn't expect Yildirim to win, but I thought that he would have put in a little bit more effort than he did. And again, it's easy for me to say that sitting out here. Do you know what I mean? I'm not in the ring with Canelo. I'm not fighting him. I don't know. I can't go up against him. But what I would say is that it just seemed a bit disappointing that, before the fight, it was like, yeah, has he been in with a Turkish warrior before? All of this, blah, blah, blah. And as the fight goes on, you didn't really offer anything. It was that sparring partner mentality that he had. And Canelo was landing at will. I mean, the body shots, the head shots, he was just doing what he wanted in there. It wasn't a difficult night for Canelo at all. And do you know what? I've seen the WBC actually come out and say that they're going to start reviewing their mandatories. And so they should. Do you know what I mean? Suleiman came out and said, I haven't caught the full interview yet. I literally saw it just before I came on live. But Jose Suleiman said that they're going to start reviewing how they elevate their mandatories. And so they should. Because there's no way that Anthony Yildirim should have been anywhere near Canelo in that ring last night, but it was. And that was because of the WBC elevating him to the mandatory position. And he hasn't fought in 2 years. And how did he get there? Do you know what I mean? How did he get to that #1 spot? There's a lot of, we all know there's a lot of issues in boxing right now. And this is one of them. because I don't know where Anthony Yildirim, what significant win does he have to put him in that position to fight Canelo? So, yeah, it's good that the WBC are going to review it. I hope that they're open about it and they let us know what it takes now for a fighter to become a mandatory. And hopefully they stick to that. So got some comments here in the chat. Let's have a look and see. Big up Ian Hamilton. He's left a comment here. And he said, Canelo doing what Canelo does best. Yildirim offered absolutely nothing, but watching Canelo was worth it. Now let's see if Saunders is going back. Let's see if Saunders is going to back up his talking. I think otherwise. Yeah, that is the topic of this video here. Does Billy Joe Saunders have what it takes to defeat Canelo? And Ian Hamilton certainly doesn't think so. But Billy Joe Saunders, I mean, I know a lot of people have said in the past that the style to beat Canelo is somebody that's fleet-footed, somebody that can move, somebody that can provide angles. We saw that Canelo's only loss in his career so far was against Floyd Mayweather, who did exactly that. But, you know, it's very hard to emulate Floyd Mayweather. Now, Billy Joe Saunders does have a stick and move style. He can be slick when he wants to be. And we've seen in the past those type of fighters have given Canelo problems. But let me just say that was the Canelo of like 5-6 odd years ago. Do you know what I mean? Like this Canelo here, he's a totally different fighter compared to then. Is Billy Joe Saunders going to be able to stick it out against Canelo and do the job? At super middleweight, Canelo looks phenomenal. I mean, he almost looks unbeatable at super middle. Billy Joe Saunders, on the other hand, very good fighter. I do rate him highly, but at super middleweight, he hasn't been very impressive for me. Not impressive at all. So he knows what's on the line here. I'm sure he's going to be working his arse off for this fight. This is what he's wanted. This is what he's been calling out for so long. So let's see it. I'm glad it's happening. Billy Joe Saunders needs a big fight like this. And to be fair, after he defeated Martin Murray in December, he was getting on to Eddie Hearn. He was really saying, look, Eddie, I want this big fight. Give me this big fight next. I want the big fight. So we can't say that he didn't want it. We can't say he's not ready. But at the end of the day, this is it. Do you know what I mean? It was supposed to happen last year. This was before the whole coronavirus pandemic took a hit on all of us. It was literally seconds away from being announced. So Billy Joe Saunders knows what he's going up against, and he's had enough time to look at Canelo and train and study him. But this is it now. So I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, what do you guys think? I've got some more comments in the chat here. Konrad has put, I don't think that Billy Joe Saunders has the power to stop Canelo from going forward and working his body. Yeah, he might not have the power. I mean, look, in the second fight with Triple G couldn't even stop Canelo from going forward. So how's Billy Joe Saunders going to do it? I know it's different weights, but like I said, Billy Joe Saunders is not a natural super middleweight like that. Yeah, it's going to be hard to stop Canelo going forward. I think that Billy Joe is just going to have to really box the fight of his life. We've seen what he could do against the likes of David Lemieux. I'm not saying Lemieux is on any sort of level as Canelo, but we see what Billy Joe Saunders, a fit and focused Billy Joe Saunders can do. Because I remember going into that Lemieux fight, quite a few people were picking him to get knocked out. Now, like I said, Lemieux is not Canelo, but Billy Joe Saunders is going to have to box that kind of fight, man, because he can't really stand in the pocket and trade with him. There's only going to be one winner there. So Konrad has said that will be his demise. Big up Jamie Payne. What's happening, bro? He's put, as good as Billy Joe is, he's too hit and miss and inactive to dethrone the pound-for-pound king. Canelo will stop him late. Now, yeah, you know what? I can see that happening too. I think that Billy Joe will definitely do better than Callum Smith. I think that he'll do better than Smith. I think that he will have some success. But yeah, like I said, he's been too inactive over the years. Hasn't really been fighting regularly. But he will be up for this one. He has to be. And what I hope to see from Billy Joe is I want to see him try and get under Canelo's skin. It's probably not going to work, but recent Canelo opponents have, like, you know, they've just been way too respectful, which is understandable. I mean, they know who they're going up against. But I'd like to see Billy Joe just be himself. Do you know what I mean? Maybe try and get under his skin. Maybe try and get Canelo out of his game plan somehow. He's got to try and do something. But it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good fight, man. I'm glad it's happening. And I'm glad that Billy Joe Saunders is getting his chance either way. I do like Billy Joe. So let's see what happens. But I do have to say that it's going to be very hard for anyone at super middleweight to beat Canelo. I think that David Benavidez and, you know, Jamal Charlo, if he did move up, got a good chance. Billy Joe Saunders definitely has a chance. Caleb Plant has a chance. I'm not saying that these guys don't have a chance, but I'd still make Canelo the favorite over pretty much all of them. Mohammed Zishan in the chat here. What's going on, bro? He's put, I see Billy Joe winning it. Not going to lie. Let me know how. What do you think he'll do? He's going to stick and move. Will he be able to do that for 12 rounds against Canelo? Because the thing is, let's say Billy Joe Saunders does box a perfect fight against Canelo. He's still got to go. We still got to go to the judges, and we know what the judges have been like with Canelo over recent years. And I hate to say that, but it's true. Do you know what I mean? He's also got favour from the scorecards as well. Even against Floyd Mayweather, when Floyd Mayweather put on that dominant performance and dominated him, there was still one guy that scored it a draw. Do you know what I mean? So not only have you got to outbox Canelo, you've got to really, take him to school to win on the scorecards. A lot of people thought Triple G did more than enough in the first fight to win. He didn't get the win. In the second fight, it was a lot closer, but there were still some people out there that thought Triple G did enough. He didn't get the decision in that one either. There's been quite a few fights over the years where it's gone to the cards with Canelo and he's got the favour from the judges. So it's going to be hard for Billy Joe because I definitely don't see him stopping him. So, let's see how it goes. But big up Duane B in the chat here. He's put, as a former Canelo sparring partner, I thought he might have had some ideas, but he offered so little. Yeah, he was so disappointing, Anthony Yildirim. And like I said, no one here, none of you guys in the chat, I certainly didn't. None of us thought that he was going to win. But come on, man. I mean, Anthony Yildirim, he shared the ring with Canelo before. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like it was completely new what he was going up against. And I just would have thought, I would have liked to have seen him at least try a bit harder. Do you know what I mean? The occasion really got to him, I could tell. And after 3 rounds, it was almost as if it was just like, yeah, I've done my 3 rounds. That's enough for today. I'm going to get the money either way. And that's it. So like I said, I'm glad that the WBC are saying that they're going to review how they organize and how they, select their mandatories. They're going to review that whole process. And they need to. They need to do it because there's no way Anthony Yildirim should have been there. But even though he is there, I thought he would have gave a better effort than that. But he just offered so little, man. It was just like a sparring session on TV. That's literally what it was. Konrad Boxing has put here, the new Canelo just doesn't slow down anymore. Who can keep up with that? Yeah, his stamina, he's able to last the 12 rounds. I remember early on in his career, he used to kind of get tired later on. But now, I mean, yeah, he's put the new in quotations, and I get that. But this Canelo, he's just phenomenal. He's just phenomenal, man. So Billy Joe is going to have to really frustrate him, get in his head, just like outbox him completely. Don't try and get drawn into a fight. Just don't let the crowd get to you if there is a crowd. Don't let the crowd get to you. Literally just do what you need to do. Stay on the back foot, pop a jab here and there, try and counter Canelo. But it's going to be difficult. It's definitely going to be difficult. Ian Hamilton here has put, Saunders is going to have to produce an out-of-body performance to beat Canelo, but Canelo can counter very well and hurt badly to the body. Plus, Canelo has a massive tool bag to unlock, but let's see. So, yeah, a lot of people here are picking Canelo for sure. Duane B's put here, I agree with Konrad. Billy Joe Saunders does not have the power to deter Canelo. Might win a round or two, but I see a mid-round stoppage. Mohammed Zishan has put, do you think Triple G won the first Canelo fight? I did think he beat Canelo in that fight, to be honest. Yeah, I did. I thought he did enough to win, but yeah, he didn't get the decision. Big up my man, Black Gatsby in the chat here. What's going on, bro? We have to get you on the show sometime. He's put, Billy Joe Saunders hasn't got a chance. His lack of meaningful offense isn't helpful, especially considering Canelo's defense. And he's also put here, Yildirim talked a good game in over his head. I don't think he was seriously put hurt at any point, but he just got discouraged. Yeah, for sure. Go to your first comment here about Billy Joe. He's saying he hasn't got a chance against Canelo. Hasn't got a chance. And when you look at it, Canelo is hard. He's very going to be hard to knock out, and it's going to be hard to get a points win. So the people that do think Canelo, Mohammed, you think that Billy Joe can do it? So let me know how you think he's going to do it. Do you think, I'm guessing it's a points win, but keep in mind that the judges, we have to keep it real on here, man. The judges always tend to favor Canelo. So he's going to have to box the fight of his life, man. He is. Yildirim, yeah, as Black Gatsby said, he talked a good game. He was talking about Turkish Warrior. He was talking about this and that. But really, I'm guessing that was just to hype up the crowd, man, because I saw the video footage in Turkey of the fans before that fight, and they were really getting behind Yildirim. And maybe it was just for that, because in the ring, man, he didn't show me anything. Didn't show any of us anything. So it's a shame, but that's just how it goes, man. Big up my man, Terry Smoot Jr. in the chat. He's put, salute, King. What's happening, bro? Let me know what you thought about the fights, Terry, man. I mean, pretty much expected, wasn't it, with Canelo anyway. Mohammed has put here, Billy Joe needs to do the hit and not get hit. and move around the ring and make Canelo really work for the victory. And if he's in danger, he needs to hold. Yeah, he's got to make it ugly, got to spoil, got to just, fight to his game plan. Don't try and get drawn in. Don't try and do this whole, I'm a gypsy, so I can fight with him and all that. Just box your game, box to your level that you know what you can do. And that's all you need to do for 12 rounds. Do you know what I mean? I'll say that's all you need to do, but that's what you've got to try and do. Do you know what I mean? So the game plan is clear, what Billy Joe needs to do. And if he can do it, he's got the potential to do it. We'll see what happens if it goes 12 rounds. But, it's going to be difficult. Against this Canelo here, he's just looking unstoppable right now, man. He really is. And like I said, Billy Joe hasn't been looking that great at super middleweight. He really hasn't. So Terry Smoot Jr. has put here, man, how much was Avni paid for that performance? Bro, a lot of people are saying that. He's put Billy Joe may take a dive just like Avni Yildirim did. We'll see what happens. Big up my man Boxing Luton here in the chat. What's going on, man? He's put, I'm not Billy Joe's biggest fan outside the ring, but he's one of the best fighters in there. That said, Canelo has been getting better while Billy Joe has been in the wane. Yeah, I personally think that with Billy Joe, he fights to the level of his opponent. Do you know what I mean? The last few fights, he hasn't really been motivated. He's been inactive. And it's hard to get up for a fight against Martin Murray, who's basically got one foot in retirement. And, the other guy, the Sufi guy, like those type of opponents, they're not going to get Billy Joe up for it. But this guy here, Canelo, I mean, if you can't get up for this, then there's no point being in the sport. And for years and years, all of us have said, like, we know what Billy Joe can do. We know he's got the skill. We know he's got the talent. We've seen it on like a couple of occasions. Like when he fought against David Lemieux, we know he did it there. When he fought against Andy Lee, he did very well there. Early in the few earlier rounds against Chris Eubank Jr., we know what sort of talent Billy Joe has got. Now, I'm not saying that any of these guys are on the level of Canelo because he's going to have to take it another level up. But we've seen what Billy Joe can do, and we've always said to ourselves, how far can he go with this talent? How far can he get to? We're going to find out because, I mean, Billy Joe's been boxing for most of his life, and he's a fantastic boxer, man. I've always liked watching him. So I'm intrigued about this fight, man, because I do think that to beat Canelo, maybe that is the style to do it, but it's going to be difficult. I think that you're going to need some sort of power in there to kind of stop him from going forward as much. So then you look at somebody like Benavidez, maybe, who's a big super middle. You then start to look at the light heavyweights like Beterbiev or Bivol. But at super middle, I think that if Billy Joe is on his game, he can definitely cause problems. He can. I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it for 12. And like Boxing Luton said here, Canelo's been getting better as well. If anything, he's the one that's getting better. And Billy Joe looks like he's on the slide because he hasn't looked impressive at super middleweight for me. So let's see what happens there. Big up Boxing Luton, man. Thank you for the comment. Ian Hamilton's put here, if the WBC are having a review, then they need to explain why Dillian didn't get a shot at Wilder for the 3 years and anyone else did. I look forward to that explanation. Yeah, I look forward to seeing what they say, the WBC, man, because I literally only saw the comment before I came on here, and they said that they were going to review their process. There's a lot of things that the WBC need to review. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, this is one of them. Like this whole man, how did Yildirim get here? How did he even get to the #1 spot? So I think that's important, definitely. And I'm looking forward to seeing when and where that's going to happen. My man Boxer Luton in the chat here, he's put very, very good points on Billy Joe stepping up for the big fights. Yeah, man, for sure. When he's motivated, man, he can do it. He can get up there. But this is the whole other level altogether. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how he gets up for it, man, because this is it. You know, this is the one that he's wanted for so long. And I really wanted to see Billy Joe. I don't know what you think, Boxing Luton, but I really wanted to see Billy Joe against Triple G. I thought that Billy Joe, he'd have a better chance, obviously, against Triple G now than Canelo, in my opinion. But I always wanted to see how he'd get on against Triple G because I thought that would have been a good fight for him. And I know that he wanted it, but it just never materialized, unfortunately. So that was a shame. Terry Smoot Jr. has put here, how do you feel about Caleb Plant versus Canelo? I think, yeah, similar to sort of fight with Billy Joe. I think that Caleb Plant's not a massive puncher at super middleweight. He's very slick. Do you know what I mean? He's going to have to be, because consider if Canelo does beat Billy Joe in May, then it is going to be Caleb Plant in September. That's what they're saying. So if that is the case, then yeah, Caleb Plant's going to have to do the same sort of thing. He hasn't been in with anyone anywhere near the level of Canelo, though, which is his own problem. You know, he hasn't really had mixed in that sort of competition. Should he get another fight before Canelo? I'd say so. I don't know who's like the IBF mandatory that he needs to defend against, but yeah, I'd definitely get one more fight in, try and stay active, try and look good. And yeah, I'm not saying that you're going to need loads of power to halt Canelo. He could box on the back foot for the 12 rounds. I'm sure that Caleb Plant, he's shown us that he can do that, and he's very slick with it as well. He's just going to have to really just try and frustrate Canelo, man, for 12 rounds. Easier said than done. Do you know what I mean? Let's see how it goes. But Terry Smoot here has put, Dylan was not mandatory for 3 years when Dominic Brazil was the mandatory and had the WBC silver belt before Dillian White. Yeah, it's a joke. It's, bro, Terry, the WBC are a joke, man. I know a lot of people go at the WBA, but the WBC, man, they're just, well, what's the word for the WBC? We be crooks. I think that's the word people call them. So the WBC are something else, man. They really are. Muhammad has put here, Billy Joe did get hurt by a Sufi. Yeah, he did. I remember that. He did get hurt by a Sufi, man. Billy Joe Saunders here from Konrad Boxing has said, Billy Joe Saunders may get some of that wild boar meat for this fight, bro. You never know. He's going to... Oh, man, honestly, man, I'm not even going to get into that. But big up WM here in the chat. He's put, of course, Billy Joe Saunders has a chance. His movement and style is very underrated. Yeah, man, look, I think he does have a chance, but it's just going to be... I can't go all the way and pick him, W. That's just me. I think he does have a chance, but he's got a very good movement. But he hasn't shown me that at super middleweight. Not really. He hasn't really shown me that yet. This is going to be a whole nother level altogether, though, because what I will say, like I said earlier, is that he fights to the level of his opponent, Billy Joe. And going up against Canelo here, he's going to take it to a whole nother level altogether. So, yeah, I think that he can. That sort of style does frustrate Canelo. We've seen that in the past. But I just have to say, man, I think Canelo's got better as well. I think he's got better as well. And that's why I think that he cuts off the ring a lot better now. You know, he's adapted to that. So he's been in there against Erislandy Lara, the Austin Trouts, obviously Floyd Mayweather, those guys that can box like that. And yeah, let's see what Billy Joe can do. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm actually looking forward to it. Duane B has put here, if Billy Joe Saunders wins, it's probably a bigger surprise than Fury against Vlad. Yeah, I'd say it was. I'd say it is. Yeah, I'd probably say it is as well. Muhammad has put here, his best fight at middleweight for me was against Isufi. You mean super middleweight, Muhammad, yeah? Billy Joe. Because he took the vacant WBO belt at super middleweight against him, didn't he? So, yeah. I mean, how many fights has he had at super middle? He's had 3, hasn't he? So, yeah, I think maybe. But he was hurt in that fight. He was definitely hurt in that fight, man. Let's talk about Joseph Parker, man, because I've only got about 8 minutes left here. I wanted to talk about his performance against Junior Farr. Joseph Parker, for me, before this fight, I said that he really needs to kind of announce himself again on the heavyweight scene, because Joseph Parker, for me, and I don't want to come across as being disrespectful, but he was the forgotten man for me. I have to be honest. He wasn't really, like, haven't heard him call anybody out, haven't heard him really do much at all. He had like a couple of fights in between since he fought Dillian White and last night. And none of them were very impressive for me. And none of the other heavyweights were calling him out. And, you know, Joseph Parker was really, previous interviews, all I saw him do was talk about Tyson Fury, which was disappointing for me. I explained that on the podcast. And I just thought, you know what? This is the fight. This is a big fight in New Zealand. He beats Junior Farr and beats him convincingly. Then, you know, we can start looking at Joseph Parker climbing up the ladder again in the top 10 of the heavyweight division. I think that he's still in most people's top 10. He is a very good talent, Joseph Parker. But, you know, the fight that I watched against Junior Farr, I'm not going to lie, I was bored, man. I was bored. It wasn't a great fight. There was a lot of clinching. You know, I don't think he looked that good either. I thought he got hit quite a lot. I think that he deserved to get the decision overall. But it was a close fight. And Junior Farr definitely had his moments. But Joseph Parker, for me, it's looking like that Chisora might be next. Literally, as soon as that fight was over, Chisora was calling him out. And we saw Eddie Hearn tweet about it. And, you know, David Hay was pushing it. So maybe the Chisora fight will be next. I mean, them two were due to fight before. But then I think what was it, a spider bite or something that for Joseph Parker that got that fight cancelled. But I think that fight will probably happen next. But where is Joseph Parker really going from here, man? Can you see him pushing back up those heavyweight rankings and, you know, becoming a champion again? Because he did hold the WBO heavyweight strap. But for me, there's no killer instinct there from Joseph Parker for me, man. I just don't see it. He's got a lot of talent. He's got fast hands and, you know, he's got a pretty decent chin as well. But I just don't know about Parker, man. I don't know. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I just don't know where he goes from here. If he beats Chisora, then you know, he could like look for another fighter, but he doesn't call anybody out. He don't call anybody out, man. So like Duane said here, he's just too nice. He's too nice, Joseph Parker is, man. I'm sure he's a very nice person outside the ring, do you know what I mean? But in the ring, he's too nice as well. And he's put here, he needs to find a new trainer. One last push. He's dropped out of my top 10. I'm not sure if he even beats Del Boy. Yeah, I'm not sure if he beats Del Boy right now. I'd still slightly pick him, but I don't know. I think he's too nice, and I think Chisora will definitely look to rough up Parker, man. He'll definitely look to, you know, like fight him up close and, you know, maybe try and get a few like illegal shots here and there. Chisora will look to make it gritty. And the times when I've seen Parker having to get gritty, he just hasn't shown it for me. He didn't show it against AJ. He didn't show it against Dillian White. You know, he hasn't been able to go to the well for me enough for me to be convinced that he can like mix it up when he has to. He's very pretty boxing on the outside and stuff, but doesn't do it enough for me, man. And yeah, he's got the talent. He did beat Andy Ruiz, I have to say. But again, some people thought Andy Ruiz did deserve to win that. But yeah, Joseph Parker for me, man, you know, good fighter, very good fighter. But I don't know what he's got at this stage. And I don't know. I think Chisora will be a good fight for him. I think it will. Ian Hamilton's put here, Parker reminded me of why the big names don't mention him. He's too damn nice in the ring. I remember why AJ and White beat him. He gets bullied way too easy. Chisora must be licking his lips. Yeah, Chisora's going to be all over this, man. He knows that, yeah, Parker will probably be outboxing him in the fight. But he's just going to be looking to stay in his... Look what he did, like what he did against Usyk. Do you know what I mean? Usyk was, you know, he boxed very well in the Chisora fight, and he got the decision correctly. But Chisora he made problems for him. And I think he'll do the same thing with Parker, man. And I don't think Parker is going to be as, you know, as elusive and slick as Usyk was. I think that he could get caught, and Chisora will be all over him. He's going to be all over him. Mohammed's put here, I see Chisora winning now. Konrad has put, Parker would be a good comeback fight for White if he loses again. That's Dillian White against Povetkin. Yeah, that fight's coming soon, man. So yeah, that would be a good comeback fight for White because he did drop White. Do you know what I mean? He did actually drop Dillian White. So yeah, I guess they could sell that one again. Zabel has put here, big up Zabel, man. Thank you for the comment. He's put, I have a feeling Chisora will rattle Parker mentally. Yeah, he's going to be trying to get in his head. He's going to be, yeah, I could see it too. Parker's too nice, man. He's too nice. And Mohammed's put here, that's why Chisora's calling him a chicken. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he was calling him a chicken. And look, that's just the start. Do you know what I mean? Chisora, this is what Billy Joe needs to try and do with Canelo. Just really try and get in his head. I know it's going to wind a lot of people up. A lot of people are going to be like, oh, how dare you disrespect Canelo, blah, blah, blah. But Billy Joe needs to try and get under his skin. And I think that Chisora, what he's doing with Parker here, I don't know. I think Parker, he doesn't seem the type to get rattled too easily, though. But I think that Chisora just needs to be a nuisance. Like, try and get on under his skin outside of the ring, inside the ring. When they do, I think they will fight. But when they do fight, yeah, try and get under his skin in the ring as well. Do you know what I mean? Try to make it rough, make it dirty. And he's got a chance. Because, like I said, Parker didn't impress me that much yesterday at all. Didn't impress me at all, man. Junior Farr was landing a lot. I know some people that actually thought Junior Farr did enough to win. It was a close fight for me. I mean, I thought Parker did enough, but I stopped keeping a running scorecard. And yeah, I thought that like it could have went either way. If Junior Farr got the decision, I wouldn't have really batted an eyelid. It was that kind of fight. So yeah, Parker wasn't that impressive to me at all. And he's going to need to show me something, man. He's going to need to show me something when he steps in there next. And Chisora's going to be a good test because Chisora will, I know he's more like a gatekeeper now, but he'll at least try and bring something out of Parker. Maybe we might see that grit from him. I don't know. But at the moment, as you guys are saying in the chat as well, he's too nice, man. He's way too nice. And I think that's going to have to change. Maybe he does need a new trainer. I don't think he'll get one, but maybe he does need a new trainer, man. But listen, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for this evening because we've reached that half-an-hour mark. But that was just literally my thoughts on last night's fights. Canelo against Billy Joe Saunders has been announced for May the 8th. So I'm really looking forward to that. And we're going to touch on more of that in the podcast next week. I'm also going to be releasing some videos out during the week as well. Just some news videos as I do. Those of you that are in the chat and that are regulars here, thank you very much for leaving comments. I really do appreciate you guys. And all of the new people here that have been in the chat, like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And I appreciate everybody's contributions, man. I really do. So have a good rest of the weekend, whatever you decide to do. And I'll catch you guys soon, man. Take care. Peace.